Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are making these DIY place cards perfect for any wedding or event. I'm going to be using a font from Creative Fabrica, but at this point I was unsure of which font I was going to be using, so I'm using their Font Cloud, which is a free font management tool. I have a monthly membership with this site, so I am able to go on and download most of their fonts. Now they have over 22,000 fonts that are included in their membership for only like $29 a month, which is not only affordable, but all of their fonts are super high quality, and I especially like it because most of them include all the extra characters, the glyphs, those tails and swashes that we are always on the lookout for. So they have tons of fonts that include all of those, and you can preview your text through this font cloud. You can preview all of the fonts that you have downloaded and then upload it onto the font cloud. And it doesn't even have to be fonts from this website. You can use this tool, download fonts from other websites that you have already saved to your computer. Now to preview your text, you just enter it into the text box, and then that is how it looks normally. Now we are going to be pulling some of these special characters from below to add that tail to the back end of the S and the front part of the M. So I just scroll down, I find that character. All I have to do is click on it to copy it to my clipboard, which we will see here. As soon as you click on it, it actually pops up at the top that it's copied to your clipboard. So you click on it, you go up to your text, delete the letter that you are going to be replacing, and then Control V to paste that in. And there we have it. It's not my favorite swoosh to be using on this project because I pretty much want the tail to fall off the edge. I'm going to be using more of the straight style one. So that one looks great. I just need to go find the one for the S with the tail on the back end of it. Same thing, I just click it to copy it to my clipboard. I go up here, delete the letter, and paste that in. Now that that looks great, I copy all of that together, Control C to copy it to my clipboard, and then I come over to my new project in Cricut Design Space, click on the text box to enter that in, paste that into the text box, which to do that now, this is a new update, you have to Control V to paste that in. And then, of course, the regular Cricut Sans font is not going to recognize the special characters and glyphs that came with that font, Farmhouse. So I just change up the font to Farmhouse, and there we have it. And of course, you have to have the font downloaded onto your computer as well, which I already did that previously. All you have left to do is ungroup the letters, bring them closer together, and weld, which I have plenty of videos that go over this if you do need more help with that. Now I just go back over to the font cloud. I'm going to delete out the S and the R and add in the special character R with the tail on the back end of it. And all that is the two special characters. I'm going to copy those and paste them into Cricut. Same thing again, we're going to ungroup our letters, bring them closer together, and then weld. Now the text part is almost ready to go. Now what we need to do is enter in the holder for our card, so it's going to act as the backing of the cardstock. So what I want to do is make each of these look like it's about 3 inches wide and about 2 inches tall. But since this is going to be a tent style, so there's it needs to be twice as tall since there is going to be a crease in the middle of it, making it to where it can just stand straight up. Now if you were going to do a flat lay style, you can leave it just the 3x2. or like a 3x3, and then just leave it flat on your plate or on the table. Now I want this exactly 3 inches, so I went up and changed it to 3 inches wide, and then I'm going to do the height to 4 inches since I want it just to stand 2 inches tall. And now since I am printing this, I want to change the color to white so it doesn't print anything for the color. If I left it as black, it would print as black. But I want the backing white, and I want it to just print the text that I have on it. So now what I need to do is bring the text to the front, but first I'm going to duplicate these just so I have my others to work with, so I don't have to make these over and over again. I have extras there. I moved the extra boxes out of the way so we can easily just do the Mr. and Mrs. for now. Now since I am going to just be using half of this, since half of it is going to just be kind of like the back propping of it, I want to use the bottom half of the space and make sure I don't go over that 2-inch mark. Now it's obviously way too big, so I'm just going to size it down and just kind of eyeball it. And you can always use the aligned text too if you want. Now that I have that where I want it, I'm going to select both the text and the box that it's on, slice that so the tail's on the end. I can pull those out, delete them, and I'm going to select the box and the text again, flatten that so then that knows, or Cricut knows that it's going to be printing that first, and then we're going to load that into our machine to be cut. Going to do the same thing, bring that text in front, size it down, slice off the tails, and then flatten it to the card. So there we have our 2 cards that are ready to be printed and cut, but first we need to add that score line in. Just come over to these shapes, add in that score line. It's going to be perfectly vertical. We want it perfectly horizontal. So what I usually do is go up into the rotate box and enter in 90. I put it over the box, I select the box and the score line, and then I'm going to be aligning that vertically. Now you can do this horizontally as well if it's too off center. So that's just going to make sure that it's perfectly in the center, and then we need to attach that onto our card. But first I just make a duplicate so I don't have to arrange that every time and change the position of it. So that card is ready to go. It is going to be printing, cutting, and scoring. Gonna do the same with this card. Just center it vertically and then attach. Now that's ready to go. I'm gonna quickly design the rest of them with the names and attach those all to the cards and prep them for cutting. Okay, now all of our cards are ready to be cut. And if you're unsure, you can always come over here to the side box and just kind of scroll through and make sure that they are all pretty uniform. They all have the same cut and score and print order. Now we are ready to make our project. Okay, so now I am ready to print. One thing I want to do is remove this. We don't want the bleed on there, so just uncheck that button. Print is being sent to my Canon Pixma straight from Cricut Design Space, so I love how they are connected like that. No need to do any extra work. And one thing I'm going to do is set my material to heavy cardstock. All you do is browse all materials, find it in the cardstock material list. One other thing I need to do to get my machine ready is edit my tools. I'm going to be using a scoring stylus since I do not have the double scoring or single wheel. I just want to use the regular stylus. So I'm going to apply that as well. And now I am ready to load my project into my machine. I like just using a standard grip mat for cardstock, but maybe one that's not brand new and super sticky. Of course, you can always use a light grip mat as well. And then when you load the cardstock onto your mat, it doesn't have to be perfectly aligned. You can put it wherever on here because it's actually going to register this black box that's surrounding it. And then so it knows exactly the position of it and knows exactly where to cut it. So all of them are going to be perfect, the same size. You're not going to have any discrepancies, which is why I love my Cricut so much and why it's so great to use for weddings. So now it's just using my scoring stylus to make that score line. Okay, and that's as long as it took, which wasn't that bad, but it has made our cuts on our 4 cards. Now what I like to do with this is instead of just pulling the card straight up off of the mat, I like to flip it upside down and kind of gently pull them off that way. If you just pull them straight off the mat, you're going to have a bend in these, and we want them to be perfect, especially for weddings. That's not good. So just kind of carefully pull it off. There might be some spots where it didn't quite go all the way through. You can always add pressure, take pressure off on your Cricut settings before you make your cut. Now I do have a little excess on this, so I'm just going to take my Cricut knife here and go along the line. Since it already has the line, it's super easy to cut off the rest there. Some metallic gold paint here and just this number 4 chip brush that I'm going to be using, and I am just dabbing any bit of paint. Just doing super quick. And that one's done. Now, of course, these are all handmade, so they don't have to be just totally perfect. Kind of think the faster you do it sometimes, the better it looks. And sometimes the more time I spend on making it perfect, the less perfect it looks, so. Okay, now that these are dry, I am ready to crease them at the score line. Now the fastest way, I found this, which it is kind of hard to tell now that it's painted. The fastest way that I can do this is pretty much put it up right against the table and then bend it till it gives there. Now I don't push it down too hard with my hands, but what I do is use the Cricut tool here, and then I just take it across, right across, and then that does the perfect fold. If you use your hands, sometimes it looks like a little bunched up and stuff. So I am going to do the rest of these really quick. I also did a gray version just so I could compare. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more DIY wedding related projects, make sure to hit subscribe.